Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 5 of the Ready Up Gaming podcast. As always, my name is Niall. I'll be your host, and joining me today is the lovely bearded bald bruiser, Bobby. Now, today it is lovely. Today it's just me and Bobby. Kieran is sitting this one out, but me and Bobby have a lot to talk about. So, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, just a bit of a breakdown on what it actually entails is each week, me and Bobby discuss all things gaming, what we've been playing, what we've been up to, followed by some topics of the week, such as news, typically followed by some rumours and listener questions. So this week, to be fair, there is a lot to cover. Me and Bobby have been very busy bees. We have a new Last of Us spoiler talk that is live on the channel. So if you want to give that a listen, hop on to YouTube and it's under the readyuppod. But getting into that, Bobby, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I've been playing some games, but dipped my toes in some things I haven't tried before, so
Spoiler alert.
to talk about it.
I know what it is. Spoiler alert, it's Gran Turismo. Fuck me. It's like me and the Devil May Cry saga.
Do you know what? I have been playing a lot more Gran Turismo. Because people on TikTok seem to think I'm some sort of Xbot and anti-Gran Turismo, but that's not the case.
I think you're an Xbot. You fucking are an Xbot.
Am I?
I used to think you were. You're changing, but then, like the other night,
maybe I've always been a Sony pony.
you're like a hidden one.
Maybe I have.
You've come out of the closet.
The Pegasus closet.
Pegasus closet. How do you even learn about all this Pegasus and pony talk?
Twitter, mate. It's covered because Twitter is absolutely plastered in Xbox and ponies and the Pegasus Nation. I don't even know if Xbox have like a fucking name for their clan, but I know the Sony one.
Do you want to fill people in on what this talk is? Because they're just literally may have just tuned in for the first time.
Pony is a PlayStation fanboy where they will not stop talking about PlayStation. Anything Xbox do, they will hammer it pretty much. And an Xbot is the opposite way about it. They will
Pony
pick on
sounds,
PlayStation.
yeah, I don't like the Xbot. It's a bit like meh. It's like there's not a lot of thought behind it.
No, there's not really much saying, oh, you Xbot, just because you're like, so maybe very robotic in the sense that you thought, oh, Xbox is the best, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Pony, I don't know, it rhymes with Sony.
Pony rhymes with Sony. Yeah, so
that's pretty much it.
We're under a lot of fire this week, mate. Our TikToks have done quite well, but they've been controversial.
Yep.
Which we'll actually get into it in a second. Now, before we do, I feel like we have been non-stop this week in terms of fucking podcasts. So every week for the next 7 weeks left, we're going to be covering The Last of Us. So we typically do about a 40-minute podcast on a Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday, we had the Xbox Developer Direct, which lasted for maybe about 43 minutes, but then we sat on for another hour. So I feel like I haven't been fucking stopped speaking to you, to be honest with you.
It's been a busy week between all the 2 shows and got this show tonight and then playing games, trying to find some time to play games.
Yeah, it's been a weird week for me. Yeah.
Making clips.
I'm fucking tired. It is. It's really fucking tiring. But we've had some success. First video hit 100k. Yeah. Our first video, and it was actually a reaction, if you haven't seen it, on TikTok to a little game that we'll be discussing in a bit. But real reaction. We weren't paid, as people keep on saying on it. Although Bobby took a tenner from Phil Spencer, but we'll not mention that. We fucking bank transfer. But anyway, so yes, the spoiler cast on The Last of Us is probably we should start. Tuesday night, we just covered a lot on that. So if you haven't listened to it, like I said, hop onto YouTube and cover it. Now, the only reason I'm bringing that up today is get people to listen to it for one. I think is that why I originally put it in. But Bobby, why don't you tell them a little secret that's came out from none other than, I'm forgetting his name, Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann.
Right. Yeah, so he basically confirmed on Twitter there that part 2 is confirmed for HBO, season 2, part 2. And I am so fucking excited for this because in my opinion, The Last of Us Part 2 is a miles better game than the first one.
Oh, great.
In my opinion.
I can already hear see the new Hitmill.
It's such a better fleshed out game. The story's so much better in my opinion.
I tell you what,
first one,
Bob, I think you should make a video about this. This is your TikTok.
I strongly agree with part. Like I cannot wait to see season 2 and possibly 3 because I think they will split it into 2 seasons.
I think they should. I think we discussed this. It should be 2 seasons now.
Yeah, we did.
Did he announce that it was going to cover straight into the game?
He just says part 2. See, it was announced. It was kind of advertised as season 2, and then he wrote part 2. So we know the first season covers the whole first game.
Here, what would you do if they deviated? Like, I'm not saying deviate completely from the story, but let's say season 2 covered 4 years instead of 6 years after Joel about living in that fucking you know where. I'll not spoil it on this in case anyone hasn't watched. But
fuck, I don't know how I feel about that. I think I quite like it as well at the same time because you get to see a wee bit more between Ellie growing up.
be weird though. And then season 3 and they did 4. Like if they want more seasons, they will do that. You know what I mean? And just make more content of.
See if the money's there, they'll make more.
It's great news, so it just shows you, mate, that it's obviously done extremely well. They're like, fuck, we need to get on this, which is great. Great for game films and news as well anyway, so I'm excited for it. So that's announced today. I wonder when they start filming. They'll probably start filming that. I wonder if they start, well, I was going to say, have they penned much for it, but sure, if they're just filming the games at that stage, or
have they already started filming for it? There was rumours going aboard that they've already cast Abby. I can't remember who the actor was, but apparently they've already cast her. Now, this was a rumour, but then, with this coming out today, there could be truth to it.
Are you going to play the wee Scar kid? What was his name? Liv or some Civ? What was that? Shiv?
Oh, Shiv. Lev?
Lev, that'll be you. You can play that.
I play Lev.
Transgender? Suit you?
Shave my beard off and
just shove it down below. No one will see it.
Change race.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to listen to the spoiler cast, hop on and listen to that. There's 2 episodes. Listen
because it might fill you in on some things you maybe don't pick up on, and we give kind of our maybe you're not going to play the game at all, and you just want to hear about the show. So we give our kind of comparison side by side of what we played in the game and how it differs.
I think that's what's good about it, because we have good knowledge about the game that we actually take on the show. You know what I mean? So I know that, like I said, my mate's watching doesn't play the game, so he's hearing kind of comparisons from there.
Yeah.
So I want you to do a controversial clip this week for me.
Okay.
We'll discuss this. So a bit of background for people here. I put up a video. Now, I am a Dark Souls fan. I am a From Software fan. But I put up a TikTok saying that I think Elden Ring is the worst Souls game. And people are wanting me dead. I said to Bobby, I was like, I actually can see now why people send death threats to devs. I mean, people just think
willies and everything.
They think I'm doing satire. Like, no one's. This really annoys me. Like, I'm giving good reasons on why I dislike this game. And if you haven't most likely watched the TikTok, what I basically said was, it is the worst Souls game. It's a bad game. It's the worst Souls game because the world design, is it good looking? Yes. But the best parts of that game are the areas in the legacy dungeons. Do you agree, Bobby, or do you disagree? Now you are.
No, see, in my opinion, I don't think your view is valid because you haven't beat it.
Why are you bringing that up in the show? I'm going to go back right now.
I'm clipping this. I made a clip. You have not beat Elden Ring.
I put 50 hours into Elden Ring.
Doesn't matter.
So my view is not valid unless I beat the game.
Yeah,
I do recall a mindset rule of me saying, how can you make a decision on a game, and you all jump down my throat, but now it's changed and now you have to finish the game.
I didn't jump down your throat.
Well, maybe so. You know what?
Well, the difference is, right, you keep trying to play it. I think you either need to do it or you either need to just put it down and just accept that you're not going to do it. Where when we were talking about the whole mindset thing, I was like, if I know I can play a game for maybe, say, fucking 5 hours or whatever, and I'd be like, right, or even less than that there, I know it's not for me.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring is for you. You just need to you took the wrong path, and that completely ruined you at the start. Completely ruined your whole take in the game because you basically know Limgrave inside out.
I do. I fucking hate the place. So I actually, and this is the thing, I'm not totally ignorant, and my view can't be changed because I hated Breath of the Wild when I first played it, but then loved it years later. So to anyone listening, I did ruin my playthrough of Elden Ring by not wanting to miss anything, so I used a dungeon guide and did every dungeon. So by the end of dungeon 30 in Limgrave, the repetition killed me.
Yeah.
So I bought it on PC today. So to be fair, I put my money where my mouth is. Had it on PS5. It looks terrible on PS5 version because of the stutter. So PS4 looks
where I played it.
God, I don't know how you did that as a fucking FPS fan.
Like, yeah, that's where I got my platinum on it, and then I went and played it on Series X. And I've started the playthrough on PS4, but I think you've tempted me now to go on PC because I went and got that new HDMI lead, so I can reach from here to my TV without having to move anything. So seeing that on the big screen, 4K, full textures, everything, 60 FPS, solid, get me excited.
Well,
get me in the mood.
If I'm replaying it, this should be the thing, the rule then. If I'm playing it on PC and you're getting all angsty and slabbering and saying that you platinumed it, you're not allowed to use magic. That's to be the rule. This is the bet. I'm laying down that.
Because in my opinion, the only way to play Elden Ring is using magic.
Oh my god, I can see the TikTok headlines and lights.
It is. I'm a new Souls player. This was my first time playing a Souls game. I tried it with a sword, and this does not mean I'm not a very good player or not.
Whoa. Stop what you're saying. Oh, you got hammered. You're going to tell him about the wolves.
I tried it with a sword, and this does not affect how much of a good gamer I am. I went into the first cave, one of the first caves on the left-hand side when you go up to get one of your...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
After you meet the wee Santa guy, you go in, and there's like a wolf boss there as well. Didn't even get to him, because the wolves just fucking ravished me like constantly for about an hour.
Do you not realise that the fire hurts him more, I think?
I don't know. They just get ganged up me, and then there was like a bigger white one, and he kept getting me, and I can remember texting.
Are we still talking about wolves?
Yes. And I was like, this is not for me.
Some white man just couldn't ganged up on you.
Yeah, you have the normal wolves, and then you have like a slightly bigger white one, and they just ganged up me for about an hour, and I just couldn't do it. Turned it off, fed up, texted you. I was like, I don't think this is for me.
I remember you writing that to me. Writing to me, and you were like, I can't do this. Now I'm going to go to the dark side.
I was listening to Xbox 2 podcast, and Jez Corden, Windows Central, he was saying that he finally beat Dark Souls after like 10 years, and the reason why he did was he used magic.
It's wrong. It's wrong, mate.
It's not. It's right.
It's not.
It's just allowing players that maybe aren't used to that kind of system.
Well, you're now used to the game.
Yeah. Then let me finish. I also used a katana. Katana on one hand, magic fucking staff on the other, wiping everybody out. And I've beat the game twice. I've platinumed it. I've got the 1,000 gamer score. I know Elden Ring's good. You don't.
But you won't play it with a sword throughout the whole game.
Miyazaki put magic in the game.
That's fine. I'm not... Like, listen to me.
He did not say, this is easy mode. He put it in to be used. He made all these cool fucking spells for me to use.
Well, let me ask you this. If I beat Millennia and I use summons, as in I summon other players for help, did I really beat Millennia?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. All I'm saying is, like, if you're going to replay it, I'm just asking you. I'm not even telling you. I'm actually asking you. It's like, will you try and play it with a sword so I can get your input and to see what you think?
Yeah, I feel like I can beat it now with a sword. I know the bosses and stuff. I know the mechanics of it.
So no magic?
But I don't feel the need to, but I will if you want me to.
Okay, good. And look out for his TikTok that he's making this weekend about, what was it? What's the actual word you're going to use there? I laughed. Elden Ring. You don't, what is it? Something you haven't beat Elden Ring.
There's only one way to play Elden Ring.
It's with magic.
That's with magic.
Oh my god. Fuck me. Stick him in the fucking cupboard under the stairs because Harry Potter's about to go fucking apeshit.
See, anybody out there that's listening that tries to play it, like the game looks so good, they want to get into it, use magic. It's fun. And mix it up with a sword or a katana or blood katana like I done. Go in for the attack, stay back, use your fucking magic. You can unlock like fucking, I think it's called Comet Azure. It's like a big Kamehameha.
I've seen it. Then you made your video.
Unreal.
My problem with the game, like, look, in terms of what I played, did I play it wrong? See if I could erase my memory now and play it. 100%. 100%. But what I said still was valid, that the best parts of that game that I found personally, up until where I played, was those legacy dungeons, which is just Dark Souls anyway. Yeah. But I'm going to go back.
But you don't have, the open world, in my opinion, is very much optional. If you get me all them we say dungeons you were doing and were tiring yourself out, that is all optional in a way because you don't need to do all that.
I know.
You know?
But then it's almost like what level, you know, it is, this is what I mean. If it was Sekiro, then it's fine. But because it is very, you know, me beating, is it Godric at level 10 versus going into level 40, it's just a different boss, you know what I mean, at that stage.
Yeah. But if you're good, like you say you are, then with a sword,
I'm good.
Fine.
I'm good. I'm not amazing.
I could do it at level 10 with magic.
Well, I think that's just, anyone could do that. Easy mode.
That's great.
We'll move on because we're already fucking 15 minutes.
We'll get on. I can talk about this all night.
We have so much to cover. Jesus Christ.
Let's get into it. What have you been playing?
Do you want to go first?
No.
Right.
You tell me.
You know what I've been playing? I've been playing a lot. I started Elden Ring 4 times.
Started Elden Ring 4 times.
I'm not even joking. PS5 version? No, I'll tell you exactly, right? Started the PS4 version. I was like, I'm going to finish my save. 30 hours in. Now, I want to actually rewind to March when it came out.
Yeah.
That's when I started streaming, and that's when I got my PC. So I was all hyped for Elden Ring, then that happened, and kind of made Elden Ring fall on the wayside. So I did play up until 30 hours, 3 times. So started my new save, played it for 5 minutes, and I just thought I couldn't be fucked with this. Started in PS5, like, oh, it looks better. And this is at the starting area. I was like, oh, it looks better, it runs okay now, it must be fixed. Got out in the Limgrave, I went, fuck this.
Yeah.
Could be fucked. I'll start again on PS4, and this was 2 days later. So I started again and said, I'm really going to do it. So I uninstalled my saves completely from my PlayStation and cloud storage, which I didn't mean to do. But fuck this, after a while, I got bored, so I went to my PC version, which was on a questionable mean PC version, let's put it that way. Got bored again. Didn't uninstall that, but then I went back to my PS4 version to play my save because I went, right, I'll just play my save, but it was deleted. So now I'm back on PC. So that's actually what I've done most this week until yesterday. So we'll be talking about it in a moment, but on the developer direct, Tango Game Studios, Shinji Mikami's studio, had released, shadow dropped, High Five Rush, which is a rhythm game, a rhythm action game akin to something like Devil May Cry, with weird anime textures and a really annoying cast of characters and a really, really, what way can I say that's actually not going to get me to lose my job? What would be the other word that you used to use for?
I can say it because I'm not going to lose my job.
Yeah, like you know what way.
Very woke.
I was going to say gay, but don't mean gay. Like not. I mean like.
I know what you mean, and not the homosexual way.
Not in the homosexual way, but just a very
happy.
Yeah. Out there.
I know what you mean. See, I'm interested to hear your take on it because everybody else on Twitter says
losing their mind.
Funny. Everybody that is really high on this game, and you're not. Why?
I think so. Let's start by saying the art style is great. Anime, it looks great. Now, when I say the art style, I don't mean it looks visually great, but the characters and stuff isn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, I would have rather they went proper anime or they went for a darker style. It's too light and happy for me. Like honestly, and I know I said gay, but I genuinely mean like really happy and fucking out there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Cheesy. It's actually cheesy. I was fucking picking the word. I don't know why it's gay.
Because I know you were very cheesed out by the whole
the clicking. Oh
there.
My god!
But then there's loads of people that's really big on that. I think Blessing on Kind of Funny was like, it's class. The animations is like really good on it. Like he was really high on it.
It's
whereas, I think the only critique I think he could give it was very very tutorialized.
Oh, I'll get into that in a second. Well. Yeah. So it's like a poor man's Persona in the art department is what I find. Like Persona, for as stylish and cool as it is, this just falls flat for me because he's sitting there clicking and it's like, who in the right mind thinks that's cool for a little guy to sit and click his hands to the beat? I'm like, oh, this is just cheese ball. So my first impressions, put it on, played through, and I was like, okay, tutorials here, okay. First kind of fights, yeah, I like the fight. I want to do more of it. And then you run forward, bang, another tutorial. Okay, yeah. I am on the third mission, 3 hours in, and there's still tutorials. Like,
are they still giving you new mechanics to play with?
This is where I'm going to be the devil's advocate. They're giving me new mechanics, so they're not trying to overrun you with them. But they almost think the mechanics are more complicated than they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the mechanics they're giving you now, I'm only learning to parry now. Like, to be fair, that's not something that's too difficult to understand. But third mission in. So it is like the combat is great. The combat reminds me, and it's actually coming off Devil May Cry, where I feel like I can kind of compare. You have your S rankings, and the way the attacks is all very fun. It's very obviously upbeat. Pardon the pun. And you feel cool doing it, and you have a nice wee grapple move, and now you have your parries. So I know a lot of people have played it, and they're actually saying on our TikTok over our reacts, going, "Trash game, terrible game."
Mm-hmm.
They've only played they've only getting fucking rinsed with tutorials. No wonder they think that. So only now is it starting to kind of get somewhat interesting. 3 missions in. Now the problem with that, Bobby, is the gameplay loop. The combat's fantastic when it lets you play it.
Yeah.
So the game right now, I honestly would say, is about 30 to 35% combat and 55%. I'm trying to come in. Sorry, 65%. Trying to do the maths. I'm like, what's it make 100%? 65% is traversal, but the traversal isn't fun. It's
Right,
almost
okay.
felt like the traversal's just a way of padding out the game. Like the thought of the combat, and they're like, right, how do we get traversing um, without a lot behind it? So I love the fighting in it, but it limits the fighting to you run past. I'll give you an example. You're in a stage, and in that stage, there's boxes to hit. You can run on like a linear path. There's wee tiny branchways where you can go. You can jump and do bits of platforming. But then you go to a big circle area, and then that's your fights, and they are few and far between. But there's no enemies in those wee platforming bits, so it's just emptiness that you're hitting boxes or just kind of doing silly platforming. And the platforming's not challenging either. So it's not like it's fun. It's fun when it lets you fight, but it doesn't let you fight very often. Does that make sense?
Do you maybe think it's aimed at maybe a younger age group?
Not necessarily, because there's not much fucking tutorials. I hope they can read anyway. If it was, there's not many of them. But I actually wrote a few things for the movement. The movement, that would be a problem if the movement was great. So I'll give an example. There's a button that you can press, and we were talking about this when we seen it, the returnal dash. So that's quite fun. And if you hit it 3 times on the beat, you can keep it going, but you can only keep it going 3 times. Whereas I think that would be a good mechanic if you can keep it going as fast as you can, if you never miss the beat.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
maybe it gets harder as well. That would be too
and
bad,
you get
like it gets.
Imagine they were like, oh, you can keep your combo going if you do that. So you're constantly dodging and you're hitting and you're keeping it up, but it doesn't. So it's really frustrating when you're like, oh, I'm pressing R1 in the beat, I'm kind of getting it, and then stops. But he's still fucking clicking like his life's depending on it, smiling away. I'm like, fucking move.
There's like a constant beat going, isn't there, throughout the whole?
Yeah, it is quite cool, mate. I honestly think it would be for me if the style was different. And it's kind of bad because I'm saying, oh, I like the art style, but I don't. Like if it was like Persona kind of style in terms of just how it was portrayed, maybe, but it's too cheesy and there's like cheesy robots and I've actually skipped the story. I was like, I do not care. I tried it. I was like, this story is not going to mean anything to me. I'm just skipping it and I'm just getting to the gameplay. So I played about 3.5 hours. I started really enjoying it, but then once again, just those areas in between is so boring. So boring. Are you going to give it a go?
I'm going to give it a go at some point. Obviously, we've got Dead Space just released today, so I need to kind of get stuck into that after the podcast.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to take up time over the weekend to try and get a review out next week at some point. But maybe after that, I don't think I have anything else coming out up until Hogwarts really that we're interested in.
Well, before we leave this, I just want to say this as well. See if the traversal was something akin to Sunset Overdrive. And I know everyone's kind of making that comparison, but see if you had that traversal with even better platforming, because the platforming, even the way the jump is, it's one of those ones where you jump, but you fall straight away kind of thing. Like you jump and you feel like it's not
very weighted.
It's weighted.
Floaty.
It's weighted. Yeah. It's not floaty in a way. Not that it needs to be too floaty like Ori. But
I know what you mean. It just feels very weighted when you jump.
Like to me, it could have been a fucking banger of a game if it did those things. Now I'm only 3.5 hours in. There's still things it's thrown at you. Like only learn to parry. You're now getting your side characters, so it's very frenetic. The only other issue you have is in the combat. You can spam X and you'll do your combo to the beat, but then it does one where like a big circle comes up on the screen and you have to tap it in rhythm once.
Yeah,
but it almost slows the combat at the same time. So it's like, I'd rather that didn't happen all the time. So if you tap X on the 4th time, it's going to do that, and it just slows it down. But if that was linked up with the R1, your combos, it would have been phenomenal. So it's getting lots of praise. I've seen everyone's going mad about it.
Yeah,
it seems like overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's really high on it.
But it's 27
Maybe
quid.
You're the all one out.
Well, I would still rate it good. I'd say it's free on Game. Well, it's on Game Pass, so I think you should try it. But I think a lot of people are just taking this praise because they haven't seen as much negative praise. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's nothing really negative, because everyone's got it at the same time, so everyone's like, where would I put this on my rating? Not in terms of the reviewers, because there's not a lot of reviewers that have came out. I'm just seeing a lot of user kind of feedback.
I think the fact that it was Shadow Drop kind of helped it as well. Yeah. If it was kind of promoted and stuff, then people might have been a bit off about it. But I think because it was Shadow Drop and the excitement of it, everyone get to try it. It looks visually fucking class. You know, the beat and all. A lot of people was really excited for the beat. A lot of people are into that. There was that Metal Hellsinger came out a while ago. People were big on. Guitar Hero. That? We were comparing it to Car Hero a wee bit.
Car Hero?
Car Hero.
Okay, yeah, GT. So I don't think this is that guy's director's first game since Evil Within 2, which is what, 2016, 2017, maybe 2017.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they haven't been doing this for 5 years.
No.
Plus, it wouldn't be 27 quid. So I think it's kind of an experiment for them. So I bet you the second game is going to be phenomenal compared to
That's
the
good
first.
though that they do get to do these wee things now under Microsoft. You know, they can kind of take the chance with games like this. Like we had Obsidian come out with Pentiment there back in October, November time.
Yeah.
And it was praised. It was 9 out of 10s everywhere, and that was something that they wouldn't have maybe done before they were under Microsoft.
It's a very Xbox game, mate. Very woke as a game, which I spoke about. It just feels very, you know, when we watched the Xbox conference and the way it seemed like very cheesy as a conference. It's almost,
You're saying Xbox is cheesy?
yeah, absolutely. The Xbox.
In what way?
The Xbox brand, very cheesy. Even Phil Spencer's cheesy. Do you want to say cheesy? I don't even mean not on the game, but on Xbox. This is a word that I'm looking for. And to be fair, Sony have now started doing this as well with Jim Ryan. Corporate. Does that make sense?
Right.
Does that make sense to you when you think about all these?
You're saying corporate in what way? For who?
For Xbox? This seemed very corporate.
Xbox seemed very corporate.
Yeah.
I would say Sony seemed very corporate.
Sony, but you had a lot of Sony devs teams are actually Japanese. Like Neil Druckmann doesn't seem corporate. But when you see the Xbox or the Minecraft friggin' presenters and they're all, here at Minecraft, we make the best games. It's like
Phil Spencer's not fucking corporate.
Phil Spencer's he's a cheese ball though. And you're misunderstanding what I mean. Like is, do you know like those Silicon Valley, Google corporate kind of people?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Anyone who's listening to this may know what I mean. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so I have been playing obviously something else that we're going to talk about in a minute. Only have like an hour and a half experience. So moving on, flatten us with Gran Turismo. God help us all.
Yes. I've got a lot of backlash over this on TikTok about my thoughts about Gran Turismo, even though I wasn't even like being bad about it. I was just saying that Forza's better. But I've been playing a lot more of it. I got stuck into it this week. I'm hooked on the menu system. Doing the wee menus, ticking the boxes, doing the races. I'm really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. I don't think I'm going to stop playing. I think I'm going to continue playing it throughout each week. Just kind of chipping away at it. The cars are so expensive still. Like there's used cars and everything, or not even the used cars are quite expensive. The new cars and all are quite expensive. I haven't even bought a new car yet.
Have you tried the training yet that I told you about, the driver's license?
I've done two. I've done two that I've needed. I haven't got into it. I've done two that I needed to do for certain races. Do the menus.
You mean go to the stop line?
No. I've done the two full licenses. The other way, there's like what is it, 10 something like that, 10 tests to do and to get the license.
Yeah,
I've done two full ones of them. But that's only because I had to. I don't really want to I want to just kind of get stuck into the game, the campaign, if you want to call it, doing the menus. But I'm really enjoying it. The racing, the actual driving it's kind of growing on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is growing on me. It is good.
Did you play more today?
No, not that. I've been flat out today. I didn't get a chance, but I was playing it last night. I was stuck in about 2 hours on it last night.
I really liked it, mate. But I'm interested in Forza as well. I will be playing it in VR.
Forza, that new Forza, we're going to talk about it in the news, but it looks incredible. But the Gran Turismo, I'm enjoying it more when I'm inside the car because I still think it looks very arcadey when I'm out of the car. I don't mean it in and I don't mean it in a bad way. Like it looks good, but it still looks very arcadey and cartoony to me.
Do you mean like Ridge? Does it feel like Ridge Racer to you?
Yeah, it feels like it should be down at the arcade.
Oh my god! What, I'm Forza student?
No.
Oh, you are. This feels like it should be down. See if you do a TikTok this week on GT. No more Gran Turismo. It's blocked from the bloody channel until the VR. Then you can ride everyone.
I'm being honest. Like I'm saying that it's good, but I'm just saying visually to me, it looks like I could go down to Newcastle or Portrush. I'll be GT7. I'll sit in. I'll play it.
There you are.
I'll have a great time with it. I don't have a bad time. I have a great, fantastic time with it.
I really liked it, but I love the challenges. I don't even think I put too much into it. Other than that, but online, have you tried online yet?
No.
Terrified?
No, I'm still just getting used to it. Like the driving is growing on me more. I'm getting better at it. Not that it was bad or anything, but I'm just kind of getting used to it because it is different than Forza. My one main gripe with it is the raffle cards that you get. I think that's what they're called, raffle tickets or something. And you go bring it to your garage, and then it swirls around. I think I was talking about this a wee bit last week with the wee tiny coins.
Mm-hmm. Where you mentioned them.
And every single time I've got the small pile.
I think I got an exhaust once. Or something that looks, I don't know, something that would look like a car part anyway.
Like it's so pissing me. It's pissing me off. Something
They
shocking.
shouldn't be having that in that. To be
I
honest,
don't
the
mind
game's
that
fucking
there,
70
but
quid.
it's the fact they're giving me the small pile, try and convince me to go and buy actual credits.
I know.
Whereas like Forza doesn't do that. Forza has it and it gives you fucking loads of stuff,
I know.
which should be. I
Just
don't
get it,
even
yeah.
want lots. I just give me the medium sized pile of money.
You're right. Xbox
Uh-huh.
just put ads on the home screen for all the US people. That's how they make their dollar. There you are,
Yeah.
mate. Places don't
Yeah,
have that.
no,
Help
I'm having a
people
good
out.
time, and I'll probably touch on it a couple more weeks.
Yeah. So what else? Do you want to talk more about what you've just purchased today?
Yeah, I got a Quest 2.
Do you want to let people
In prep-
know where and who you
preparation.
got it from?
Got it from a friend for £120.
Did you want to tell them what he used that for typically?
He used it for playing VR games.
And what was his extracurricular VR activity?
I think everybody can guess by that.
Yeah. This guy
Right.
was a fan of the LP hub, and Bobby's bought his dirty, grimy VR headsets.
It's kind do you know what? I don't actually know if he used this one for that.
What do you mean? What do you think? He just went back? He went to the downgrade for the Quest 1?
I think he says he just went back to setting the laptop on his chest.
I don't. Oh my god! Why did I want to vision him with lying down with a laptop on his chest?
But anyway, yeah. So got it for 120 quid. It was one of them ones I couldn't say no at that
Mhm.
price. I went down to his house first, tested out 2 games. I played Among Us VR, and I tried to play Phasmophobia VR.
Now, when you were VR, what have you really tried before? Like, you have a Quest, but have you even played it? I don't even know if what is
Not
your experience
really.
with VR?
I've tried a bit of Beat Saber on the Quest 1 and PSVR 2. I played a bit of the Astro.
VR 2?
Or I
time
early
travel?
access. The first one, the first PSVR, I played a bit of the Astro Playroom, was it called?
Yeah, that VR one's a
And-
fucking nightmare, mate. The wires are everywhere.
Yeah.
Some good games.
The Until Dawn on the roller coaster, I played that like
Good
that.
game. Shit yourself?
And not so much because I'm on a roller coaster, so it's a bit different. Attempted to play Resi 7 and I did shit myself.
Yeah. Mate, are you going to do Resi 2? Or sorry, Resi 8?
Resi 8. Yeah, do you know what? I like Dead Space. I'm hoping this is the stepping stone for me to be able to beat story games.
Talk about that in a minute. Talk about that in a minute.
If I can beat that, like, because realistically, like, scary movies and all are my favorite. So, like, I should be all over scary games, but I'm not because I'm fucking terrified of them.
It's different. Even playing Dead Space earlier, it was different. I'll talk about that in a second. So, what's your thoughts on the VR that you tried?
Thoughts?
Among Us?
I tried Among Us. Among Us was very, very good.
Yeah.
Like, really, really good fun. Have you played the original Among Us?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fucking great crack going on, typing fucking random shit. You know, when you're the imposter, killing people, arguing back and forth. I think it's great crack, and I think the VR is going to be class. When I play the game, play a wee bit of the tutorial, get to use the buttons and all. But the actual map is the map from the original game, so
Right.
I kind of know where I'm going already. But it's just in 3D, like I'm there. So like, it was really cool.
Is that going to
Really
PSVR 2, Bobby?
I hope so. I would like to think it would be. I don't think it's been confirmed or anything, but I would imagine it would.
Mate, that would just be a great time, wouldn't it? Like, just
I
with your
can't
mates.
wait. I really hope it will. I would say it will. It's big. It's like Among Us is a big enough game.
Does it handle? Is it chat or voice chat? When you report, you know, it's like you report
I
people and they
didn't,
buzz off.
get that far just on like the tutorial and stuff.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I would think maybe voices on it would.
Imagine that
I could really-
proximity chat, mate. You can hear,
would
you're
be
like, that was his
yeah.
voice. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
I was just envisioning me maybe walking around and seeing these other two, and they don't even notice I'm there, and then he kills them, and then he just looks at me, and I look at him, and you're just like, oh, fuck. You can point your finger and all, and like, tell people to shush.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very good. It actually looks very, very good as well.
That'll be, mate. It'll look even better if it comes to PSVR 2, because this is
Yeah.
even the same thing. Like, your experience so far has been on handheld devices. Like, the Quest 2 is still great. It actually looks great as well.
This was
Resolution.
attached to the PC.
Oh, was it? Okay, struck
Yeah.
me then. So then it obviously looked amazing.
It looked really good.
And the Quest 2 is quite sharp. The Quest 2 though tethered, it's not 100% perfect. It's not like the Rift S was. Like was there like any lag or anything? Was there?
Not on Among Us. Among Us seemed actually really smooth.
Yeah.
It was I only had it set to 60. I think I was getting 60 to 70 FPS on it.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was smooth.
Yeah, fair enough then.
And I'm going to download it tomorrow myself. Obviously, I was testing that on his, which is same headset, but I'm going to download it tomorrow myself and let the kids have a wee blast.
Titanic on that's amazing as well. You get to see the big ships sinking on, and you're sitting on the boat with all the women.
That's right. So there's movies and all that dark crap in there.
Yeah, like I was putting on the It the Clown like 3D trailer for the kids and all. Terrified them. But if you want to pretend you're on the Titanic while it's sinking, you can do that. That's what I liked about it. You go to Anne Frank's house as well, mate. She's not there, but you can go there.
The other game, I attempted to play, was Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Now, we've all played Phasmophobia, me, Kieran, Brad.
Not big on it.
I really enjoyed it. I think
know
Kieran
you love
enjoyed
it
it as well.
Yeah.
But he was, he's a bit like me. He's quite scared about all them scary games. It's 10 times fucking scarier on VR.
Yeah, believe it, mate. VR, you're there. It's terrifying.
I went in. It controls very well. Like, it does feel like you're there. But I went in. You're probably going to laugh because this is as far as I got. I'm a flashlight. Opened the door. Went in. Went into the house. Went left. Opened the bathroom. Heard the wee fucking. You probably can't even hear that, but it was the breath on my neck.
Yeah.
Fuck the flashlight. Took the headset off and just set it down. I was like, no, that's it.
Oh, fuck.
I think if a bunch of us had a VR for like, it would probably give me a bit more courage to play.
Mate, VR, I can play horror games,
God.
but fuck me. I remember Resident Evil 7 mate playing it, and I was like, nope. I actually was like, I couldn't.
It was really scary because it's even scary when you're playing normal with the keyboard and mouse just on the computer, and you hear that breath on your headset just behind you. And you get near enough, get shivers.
Yeah, that's next level.
10 times worse.
Like I think like you were afraid of Resident Evil 8, which to be honest, mate, that's a lot more actiony than even 7. So you'll be fine playing that in VR, I would say. But
I hope so.
The Resident Evil 7 is fucking scary in general. Like, cause it's more tense definitely parts compared to 8. 8, you're just running about with all bullets anyway. So is there anything you wish to add, Bobby, or is that all from this week?
I started Horizon. I'm about an hour in, and that's as far as I'm going to go until I beat Dead Space.
I started Horizon.
Did you? Which one?
Sorry, I continued with my save Horizon and immediately turned it off. I just don't like the world, mate. The world, I just don't like it.
I'm the complete opposite. I am really fucking intrigued. That's why I had to set it down because I was going to get hooked on it.
No, the whole fucking tribes now. I'm like, oh, boring. It's like Avatar, but not even as nice. Interesting.
Anything like kind of post-apocalyptic, I'm in.
I need to play 2, but I played 1, mate, and I was like very lukewarm on it.
Yeah,
I remember playing it when it first came out because it came out the same week at least as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
and I really liked it, and then put it down for Breath of the Wild. But I need I bought fucking it's sitting there, Forbidden West, so I may as well try and beat it. So I was in the mood for an open world game, and then I was like, I can be bothered right now. But then with Dead Space, I'm going to try some Elden Ring, and then obviously with Hogwarts in
February 10th.
February 10th, like 13, 14 days.
We get it on
2 weeks today.
7th.
There you go then.
Because I'm pre-ordering the Super Duper Mega Pack.
Super Duper Mega Pack.
Yeah, so PlayStation, you'll get it 3 days early.
Woo! Unreal. Happy days.
So I want to I want to try and get Horizon done before we get the VR, just to add to it, because I feel like I need to, even though I don't, but I want to.
I mean, I put it on just before Forbidden West. Instead of watching a recap, I put it on the easiest mode, and it was just broken. Because I think this is what happens with it. I don't like the gameplay. Like, I don't like the whole bow and arrow, and then you're shooting parts off these big fucking robots. It just bores me. Like, I couldn't get into the gameplay, and I think that's obviously a massive thing about the game, whereas it wasn't fun enough to play. So it was like, right, just get through the combat because I'm not enjoying it. But there you go. Anything you want to add?
No, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I
didn't want to get too deep into anything apart from Gran Turismo, because that's a racer you just pick up and play, because obviously we've got some games coming out that.
Yeah, that's a kind of bad thing, isn't it? You're like, oh, there's no point in me really starting this because I haven't.
Yeah.
I know that I want to play this more. That happened to me. I thought for Spoken was gonna be a game would be playing, but we'll get into that in a second. So moving on, what we're going to do is go into the news topics. Today there is, just let me have a quick look, 8 items on the list. So first up, Bobby, the Xbox Developer Direct had launched there on Wednesday night, which you can watch some of our clips up on readyuppod on TikTok. What we're going to do is obviously Microsoft presented 4 main games, but one we're not really talking about. So that was Minecraft Legends, Forza, Redfall, then obviously the Shadow Drop, which was Hi-Fi Rush, and then
Hi-Fi Rush.
Elden, fuck me, my head's away.
ESO online. You made your DLC.
Yeah, and DLC. So get into it, Bobby, anyway. What was your thoughts on the presentation as a whole?
I give it a 4 out of 5 on the Ready Up scale. I thought it was brilliant.
You went pure Xbox?
The only thing that stopped it from being a 5 for me personally was the no Forza release date.
No, I was going to put this on the rumours, but didn't.
I seen this. Are you going to say about Jeff Keighley?
Delayed in the later 23, I heard.
No, see, Jeff Keighley put up a post. I'll get it up now here on my phone. It was after the Developer Direct. Piss off, where are you?
Cheeky bastard.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, while he waits his time, so...
Right up. So, upcoming Xbox and Bethesda game releases. Today, Hi-Fi Rush. April 18th, Minecraft Legends. May 2nd, Redfall. June 20th, ESO. Before end of June, Forza Motorsport.
Why would they not just announce that then?
Now, does he know something that we don't know? Or is he just basing that because Microsoft said last year,
first half of 2023.
We see here, it's going to come out within a year, which would bring us up to the first half of.
Yeah, so he's literally put it at the end of the first half of 2023, like the month 6.
He might know because he does the Summer Game Fest and stuff like that, so he might know. I might not. But let's get into it.
Yeah, so we'll start off Minecraft. That was the first game shown. Now, I hated the game when I seen it and then started making fun of all the Xbox devs, saying that they don't even want to be there because everyone looked really unhappy. But I changed my tune. Now, I did even much more gameplay off it today. I think it looks incredible. Like, I'm actually wanting to play it, Bobby. I think it looks really good.
It looks so fucking good. I can't wait for it.
Problem is, why are they all playing it on keyboard and mouse? Everything I've seen on it, everyone's on keyboard and mouse.
I think because it's a action strategy game.
So is it going to be... I'm not going to say it's going to be, because it's not going to be shit in a controller, but...
I don't think so. Like, if they can get Age of Empires, which is out next week on a controller, I'm pretty sure they can get Minecraft.
So, everything I've seen hasn't really kind of given me the idea of the actual gameplay loop. Do you know what the gameplay loop is?
I don't know what the loop is. I know that it's procedurally generated worlds each time you play. Not obviously if you start each map you go on to, whatever, they're all different.
Okay.
So it's not like Age of Empires where you have different bases. You have one base.
Right.
And you build that up gradually over time or whatever. I think you can have your friends be with you and possibly go against other people. I'm not too sure on
That'd
that, but I know it's one base. But if I can have a base, you have a base, Kieran, whoever, and we can all go against each other in some form, I think that'll be fucking great crack.
It will be, but what I want to know is it like a resource gathering at the start?
I think there is resource gathering. But I think if you're on the same team, it works together.
You shared resources?
One stockpile. Yeah, it's a shared resource pile. So you obviously get different wood and fucking stone, all obviously to build your base up. Redstone as a weapon. And then you have, it's kind of PvP VE because you got the piglets.
Little piglets.
The little piglets, which are evil pigs. I don't know much about Minecraft.
This is where my head's coming because you have games like Age of Empires and you have games like StarCraft and Command and Conquer, which are quite different in how the process is, because with Age of Empires you're doing a lot of resource management in terms of going to get someone to get goals. You have another person going and getting wood. I'm wondering if it's more akin to that, or is it just, obviously it does have aspects of that even in StarCraft, but I'm wondering kind of what the loop is in terms of the early game, or is it just go do that, get an army and attack their base, and if that is it, I'm in.
Yeah,
because it looks fun.
I might watch it again, the actual that part of the developer direct, to maybe just get a bit more of a listen in, because obviously we were kind of up until, well, you were fucking giving it 90 at the start, saying it looked bad, and then we got really excited about it. So I maybe watch it again and see if we missed anything.
And I think the fact that it doesn't look too serious goes its way, because sometimes when you look at Age of Empires, it's almost like, oh, this is it's a lot of effort to want to go and play it. You know, it's a bit of a, it's not the best looking, I want to say best, like, it's not the most upbeat looking game. It's a bit of a drab kind of game. You're looking, you know, these fucking villagers be like, yes, sir, going to fucking cut wood. But that looks fun, mate. I actually am really sold on it. So April 18th from memory, if my memory serves correct.
Yeah.
3 months, 3 months, or 2.5 months if you want to go that way.
Can't wait.
Obviously, they showed Forza up next. My impressions were that it looks absolutely fucking incredible graphically. What about yourself, Bobby?
I think it's the best looking racing game I've ever seen.
Xbox. Why?
Fuck off. No, I think what they're shown with do you know that the ray tracing, they're actually targeting 4K 60 with ray tracing
Possible.
on the Xbox.
No way.
That's what they're
Don't
targeting.
do it.
It's not. Is it impossible though with FSR 2.0? I don't think so.
That's how good it is.
Because that's the AMD version of DLSS, which consoles can use.
I don't foresee it. 4K, 60 FPS with ray tracing, I can't see it. But if it
I can
is,
feel it. I can feel it.
I don't know. I'd be surprised, but you never know. You never know.
That's what they said. 4K targeting 60 with ray tracing.
It's kind of hard to judge it off that trailer because it's a racing game, and I haven't played Forza in a long time. But judging it, you know, the real things from memory that we got was kind of the graphics, and they also talked about having a lot more cars than ever before and stuff. But the graphics were the main kind of thing on show. Do you think that if you compare that to GT, does it blow GT out of the water?
I think it blows GT out of the water. Like, it's not even in the question. And I'm not fucking being a fanboy or anything, because I like both games. I play both consoles. But I think that Forza Motorsport blows it out of the water. Forza Horizon 5 blows it out of the water.
Different type of game, son.
Different type of game, but yes, graphically it blows it out of the water. There's a lot more going on in that game too.
So, Forza Motorsport launches. What will end up swaying it? So, what would make you go, actually, you know what? This is where GT's better?
I don't know. Honestly,
because driving games between us, like, obviously we're very casual. Are we really going to notice too much difference in driving? Because
we're not going to know the nitty gritty. We just know what feels better to us, really. And like, I can't go into all the in depth of the tuning and all that carry on, and soft and hard and medium fucking tires.
I know this from watching Formula One, mate. That's how I know about soft, medium, and hard.
See, at the minute in GT, I'm just kind of clicking it and then looking at the stats on the right hand side. Yep, that looks good. I'll click I'll buy that. That makes me faster.
No release date though, but when it comes out, obviously we're going to play it, so we'll see. And to be fair, we'll probably have a good bit of GT under our belt with the online, the VR mode.
One thing I will say about not Forza in general, but it's using the Forza engine, you know, that's being made on. So's Fable. Oh, how fucking good's Fable going to look?
Especially if you have a car running about, mate. Am I joking?
Fable's got, like, this engine can obviously do big things in terms of graphical and what they're claiming, 4K 60 with ray tracing and things like that. And when it was Playground making it, the do Forza Horizon, I think it's going to look class.
But then this doesn't equate. So if you look at the fucking Frostbite engine, you know what I mean? It's like they use that and they use Frostbite on. I was going to say,
who's using it. A lot of people didn't want to use Frostbite on it with an EA.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is
like
it because it's a good engine? Does it scale the same way that you expect it to scale for the type of game? Now, obviously, it's an open world game, so we know that.
Playground, you know, they were already working that engine, so they know what.
Did they create that engine?
Turn 10 did, as far as I know.
Turn 10 created that engine. The same one as Horizon. I thought that would have been a totally different engine, and it would have been in Forza.
No, it's the same engine. Don't quote me on it. I think it's the same engine, but I know it's that's the engine that's being used for Fable.
There you are. Are they having trouble with Fable? I read that, but I don't know if I just seen it.
I don't know. Rumors. You never
It's been a while though. Has been a while since you've mentioned it.
Yeah, well, it depends what way they're going to go this June with the E3 timeframe, whether they're going to take the same format about the 12 months, because if they are, I don't know if we'll see it.
Yeah, maybe we'll get into it
That-
because we'll have actually a wee bit to talk about. We'll maybe talk about
Yeah.
Halo in a second. So we'll move on. A game we actually were both kind of hyped for, and I wasn't hyped for it. Redfall was shown. So
Yeah.
Bobby, give people the guys a bit of a breakdown on Redfall, because obviously you're kind of the
I
man
want it
leading
now.
the charge.
Yeah. So a lot of people thought it was going to be like a Left 4 Dead kind of style, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not. It's more kind of a Far Cry, open
Yeah.
world, single player. With obviously you can bring your friends in too, but it's very much a single player game as well. You've got different areas to kind of take over. Many smaller bosses, take over them, leading into the bigger boss. Looter shooter. There's loot about. You can upgrade your guns. There's different kinds of vampires. We've seen quite a few of them. Look a wee bit generic.
They don't know, like
Me?
they could have made it better.
I know Kieran was texting me and saying about, do you know, I think there's not enough of them, but he's maybe thinking about Left 4 Dead, whereas they have hordes. But I was thinking, no, there'll not be as many of them. There's vampires. They'll be harder to kill than, because Left 4 Dead zombies, you just shoot them, that's them fucking take red. Whereas it looked like there was a bit more going on when they were fighting them. But I'm really excited for it. See that whole taking over areas to fight maybe the top boss, and then there's a, what is it, the vampire gods above them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe working your way up. I love all that stuff, and I think co-op will be a fucking blast. The one thing that it kind of let it down for me was they didn't actually show us what way the co-op's going to work. So we know that you start off, you pick a character, that's your character, you can't change unless you start a new one.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, your progression carries over if you join someone else's game, in the sense your character progression.
I see.
all your loot and things like that, but your story progression doesn't.
I have a theory here. So remember the other day I was asking you what game is that like with the taking over districts, and I said Mafia. Do you know what it is?
Yeah. What is it?
Division 2.
Is it? That's not the one. I'm thinking of something else then.
No, I believe, I don't know about the big boss, but you kind of have to capture divisions from, or capture areas from enemy control that they start taking it over. So I'm wondering, when you're saying that you don't know what way the multiplayer works, I wonder if it'll be similar to Division. Once you go near that area, well, in Division it's kind of matchmaking before you go into that area, and you press hold start and it'll matchmake it.
Yeah, I just thought of what game I was thinking of. Sorry.
What is it?
Saints Row.
Oh, so I really got into Saints Row. Played the first years
Saints
ago.
Row, taking over the gangs. They all have different colors. You took over the Saxons. That's what I was thinking of.
So I think Division, but I don't even know if Division worked the way you had the kind of gang leaders. But they could do it the way, it could be very much like Division, but they would have came out and said it. You know, they would have been pushing it.
As far as I know, I think that's maybe why they're not doing it, because they know it's going to be a letdown to people. Is your story does not progress over if you join my game, and we're both maybe at the same place when we start. So I'll maybe get, say, fucking 3 missions in or something. Whenever you go back to your game, you'll be back at mission 1. But all your stuff that you got will come back with you.
So I think maybe Division works. The Division doesn't work that way, but that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, oh, I wonder if they're doing that, like a soft kind of online shared universe. That'd be quite cool. To be fair, I love the fucking Division. Like, I actually think I like that type of game. Obviously, they're making another kind of spin off. It looks a bit ropey though. Have you anything else to add in terms of Redfall? Because I'm hyped on it. Like, it does look great.
I think for me, I'll probably single player it. Probably blip it through on a single player, and then I'll have a separate character for joining, like the Kieran's game or your game if you get into it. I know Kieran will probably get into it. He likes a good co-op game. So I think I'll probably have my separate character for that, and then I'll have my main story where I can go and just do it.
Do you think it's like it's designed to be a kind of a long-term game, like akin to, I'm going to say, I was going to say Destiny, but it's really kind of, you're really going out there. That's obviously a shirt. Yeah. It is generally, I think, kind of like a Far Cry co-op.
I think it's going to be a Far Cry. You're going to have your missions. You have your side missions. 100%. That's what I think it'll be.
Yeah, it's nothing that's actually going to be. I think we talked about this, raids or anything.
Yeah.
But then I could see them doing.
They could add like a raid mode in, or like a horde mode or something like that there into it. But I think it's very much going to be a story game.
There's going to be no PvP in it. Like, there's not going to be a PvP section, I'm guessing.
No.
Be interesting
stuff in the future.
That's what I mean. But yeah, I think the trailer that showed the gameplay looked fantastic.
I'm hyped for it.
I'm going to have to get dead. I'm going to have to try and get that game you like definitely done before.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's aim acceleration you need to take off.
Yeah. Was that what I mean? Like once you start going, it
Yeah.
kind of speeds up.
Yep. Take that
Okay.
off and it's smooth.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it before, and then I took that off, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. I'll give it a go because I'll do it right before Redfall because then at least I'm a wee bit hyped up for it. And moving on, the final last thing of the show was the Shadow Drop, which was up until the end of the Shadow Drop. The whole time I was sitting going, imagine they turn around and said releases tonight. They've already done that. What other big game have Xbox done that on? Obviously they did it on Halo that time, but that was for just the multiplayer.
The multiplayer. I can't think off the top of my head.
There's been wee silly games, like, hasn't there?
Yeah.
There's nothing been that kind of like. That was a.
Not that. It was, to me, watching it, like, I think I can speak for both of us. We were both quite excited about it.
Yeah.
Seeing it, we were like, it got further and further in, and our excitement kind of was building with it. Yeah. And then we got to thinking, like, you were like, oh, this is dropping day one, taking the piss, dropping right now.
I didn't expect them to do it. It did.
I mean, we were like, whoa, class. But no, it's like we talked about it at the top of the show, so we don't really need to get into it too much. But I'm definitely going to give it a go.
I think you should give it a go, even just for your thoughts.
I think I should maybe have maybe an hour or two into it before next week's show. Maybe compare.
Yeah, if you can get a wee bit of blast in it. But I unlocked a trophy there, and only 7% of people had the trophy, and I think it was just from getting onto the mission 4. So it just shows you, like, this, the amount of people that's playing this, not a lot of people have progressed a lot. It's still very early days, and I'm about 3 hours in. But just to give people a bit of a background on how many people are actually playing it, because a lot of people I'm seeing there's a lot of positive things online, but then a lot of negative things on the likes of YouTube and TikTok from just random posters. But like I said, Steam I looked at and it was overwhelmingly positive. People were loving it. Even all the cheese.
Well on Twitch as well.
Yeah. Cool game. It is cool. Like, I bet you number 2 is going to be absolutely amazing compared to it. Item 2, Xbox Live Show is back. So, in a blog post recapping their recent online event, Xbox confirms that it's working on a standalone showcase in Los Angeles this summer. In a paragraph about upcoming game announcements, Xbox wrote, as we announced previously, in order to dedicate the proper amount of time for a deep dive into Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, a standalone show, is in the works. So, that will be before this summer. Okay. Yeah. So that would tell me it's going to be probably March when that show is.
I think so.
March, April. When do you think it's going to be?
I think Starfield's delayed.
Do you?
Yep.
When do you think not the game, when do you think the show's going to be?
Oh, I don't know, because it depends when I don't know. Part of me thinks it's delayed because I can't see it coming out in June, so close to Redfall.
Yeah.
I think it would want a bit of a gap, but that's just my opinion. I might be wrong.
Okay, well, moving on. So they went on to write, in addition to this, our teams are working hard and look forward to sharing even more of what is next for our fans when we return to Los Angeles for our yearly showcase this summer. And then Xbox, the last physical showcase they had was in 2019 before COVID-19. And increasingly remote first world put in-person events like E3 on hiatus. So it's not necessarily E3 they're doing, by the way. They haven't said E3. I don't even know if it's E3 happening this year.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's
right. I want to say they're back this year in person.
So this year, live show, come at me, but talking about that, no Starfield's at that. So they actually outright said they're dedicating a show to Starfield before this. So what do you think we could see at this year's showcase?
It depends whether they are, like I said before, going to keep to that 12-month release. I think if they do, I think we'll see Avowed. I think we'll see Hellblade. I think Hellblade might even come out this year.
Tail end?
Yep.
So you get Hellblade, Avowed. Who's doing Avowed?
Obsidian's
doing Avowed. And what type of game is this? Because I've heard of it and I've seen it and I didn't really...
It looks like Obsidian's version of Skyrim.
I see.
Now, Obsidian, obviously done Fallout New Vegas, which a lot of people regard as the best.
I know. They also did Stick of Truth, didn't they? That was them?
Yes, they done. Yeah.
They didn't do the second one, did they?
No, someone else done the second one. I actually preferred the first one.
Stick of Truth. Let me see. What was that? South Park. What was the second one called?
Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft
published it.
Published it?
Both.
Yeah, the publisher who developed the
Sorry.
second one, Fractured But Whole. It was done by it was Ubisoft. San Francisco was the developer. I was pretty sure that was going to be. It was just an
that right?
Ubisoft. Yeah, it was just an Ubisoft studio, and within that, it wasn't really like it's strange. Obviously, they published it, but so Fable. We need to see something else of Fable now. There's Project Dark as well. That I've been hearing.
Dark.
Perfect Dark. Fuck me. That just shows you my Xbox thing. I've not even played any Perfect Dark games. That's from what I've been reading now. It is rumors. I'm not going to do a Kieran if you're listening and start telling people like it's facts. But I've been hearing that some issue with that. You know, but kind of reading up a few things. I haven't been reading into too much sources of it, but a few things have seemed to pop up time and time again with that game, and that's how I really kind of remembered it. That it's out soon. Well, it's supposed to be out in the coming few years anyway. So, what's your thoughts then? Project Dark. Oh my god, why did I say Project Dark? Perfect Dark. Fucking Xbox. Stop it. Why are you making?
Well, your woman is it Joanna Dark? This is a big game one. Was it Nintendo 64?
Yeah, it was originally a Rare game.
Yeah, it's compared to GoldenEye.
Yeah, that was that. That's Rare did that. I think after GoldenEye, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people say Perfect Dark's better. It doesn't do it for me whatsoever.
Perfect Dark came back out. Was it the 360 or the Xbox original?
360.
Yeah, it was supposed to be shocking, wasn't it?
Perfect Dark Zero, I think. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be very good.
Yeah, that game I wouldn't care about. Mate, honestly, it's Fable. Fable for me. Fable 2 was I remember the day I got my 360 for the second time. Rest in peace, the first one. I got Fable 2 and I got Fallout 3. Hated Fallout 3, adored Fable 2. Had my priorities right even then. But it was absolutely astonishing. That game was fantastic. Do you know who developed that game?
Fable?
Yeah. Do you know who the creator was?
No clue.
A guy called Peter Molyneux. Did you ever read up on him?
No.
Mate, Peter Molyneux
Refresh my memory. I might know. But...
So he's an English fella. He developed Fable. He also done Black and White. It was an old PC game. But if you remember
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Black and White.
He
Black
also,
and White too.
Yeah, it was Peter Molyneux. I'm about 99%
sure. Oh, that's
sure.
right. Lionhead.
Yeah, Lionhead. He was the head of Lionhead.
Yeah, that's right. I do.
But he was the guy from. Do you remember the Project Milo for they did the Project Milo demo for what do you call the VR fucking hang on or the Kinect?
Right.
Have you never seen the Project Milo demo?
No.
Oh my god. So Peter Molyneux is renowned for telling absolute lies, mate. So even with Fable 1, he said all these things would be happening where you can plant a seed and later in the game you'll see a tree grow in its place and all. Never happened. But just anyone listening to this, trust me, go watch the Project Milo developer demo by Peter Molyneux for the Kinect. He is so full of shit at what the Kinect could do. And I remember watching as a kid thinking, this is going to be insane. Bobby, it'll blow your mind.
I must watch it.
They're talking to an AI guy on the TV, handing him pieces of paper, and he's like, thank you for that. Oh, what's this say? And he goes, it's just, mate, it's bonkers. But I love the guy.
Class.
Do you not remember he made a game called The Cube, I think it was. And what you would do is you would tap every day, and he says someday someone will get to the center of the cube and that person will win the best prize in the world. Do you remember this?
No, it sounds like a load of nonsense.
Someone won, and he says they'll be able to be God. They will own their own studio or something. And it just fell apart, mate. Like, this guy won it, and it was like, this is the worst thing ever. There's a whole lot of research. I know that kind of went off in a tangent, but I just think that's worth anyone kind of reading into.
Oh, see, you've just mentioned Black and White. I want to download Black and White too now.
Well, you do have a PC. I never played it.
Play them?
No, my friend Johnny used to have
Black
them.
and White 2 is one of the best PC games ever.
From a guy who hasn't played much PC games, to be fair.
It was back in the day. I remember so much. I played the first one and it was okay, but it was the second one that was coming out, and to me the graphics were just fucking mind blowing at the time. And
I remember those early 2000 PC graphics where they looked really good. Yeah,
the water looks so good. And I had a computer at the time, and it wasn't great, to be honest. And I got it on disc back then. That's where you got PC games. And I remember sticking it in and getting the thing up, saying your graphics card's incompatible.
So what happened? What did I do for you?
My mum had to bring the computer down to a shop in Antrim at the time. It was down the Bridge Street, and she got me. I was probably, to be honest, didn't have much money, so it was probably just bare minimum graphics card for it.
Yeah.
But I played it, and it's so good. if you like the strategy, kind of building your armies, building your base, you have a creature. You build your
Is it the god or something? A god?
You're a god. You're essentially just a hand.
Yeah.
You're going about, but you build up your city. You make them breed. You make them farm, get ore. You build your armies up, and you have a creature, and your creature grows, and you can be good or bad.
Right.
So if you're bad,
You were bad.
Your whole, of course, it was bad. Your whole city becomes grows like moss all around. It becomes very dark as you get, and then your creature changes as well. So it'll look very evil looking. And then if you're good, it'll look fucking stupid.
That's just, it's Peter Molyneux. Did not notice similarities with Fable?
Good. I didn't play Fable.
What? You're the worst
Never.
Xbox fan I've ever met.
I've never played Fable.
Oh my fucking god. Fable 2 is baller, unreal. Absolutely unreal. In terms of PC, look, I got a PC. I asked my dad for a PC in 2004. Got it for Christmas or 2005. First game they gave me. I got Guild Wars with it and Call of Duty 2. Couldn't run it. One that had a CD drive, not a DVD drive, which you needed. And then the graphics, I needed a new graphics card and everything, and more RAM. So yeah, that had a 32 gigabyte hard drive and 256 megabytes of RAM in it. And a GTX 570 was the card I ended up getting. It was a beast. So that's obviously that.
It was 2005 as well, so that would have been the same time as me.
There you are. Item free. Forspoken has bombed by the look of things. So currently sitting at 67% Metacritic. Forspoken is being panned by many critics, with sites like IGN saying Forspoken's flashy combat and parkour can be fun, but it's not enough to make its cliche story and bare-bones open world very interesting to explore. So Bobby, we had dodged a bullet.
Yep. It's 3% off me buying it. I said if it was a 70, I would buy it.
I bet it's still a decent game.
We both tried the demo, and you were a bit higher than me on it.
Combat was decent enough, and to be fair, the reviews are saying the combat is fun, but the open world section's terrible.
It's very cluttered, which I found as well. I think there was listening to Podcast Beyond, and your woman Jada was saying like it took her. She went off and took her a good 2 hours to get used to the switching.
Right.
She's a good gamer. You can't say that she gets a lot of platinum stuff like that there, but it took her to get into the flow because there were so many different ones, and then there was different enemies that was weak to her. It was maybe ineffective too. So I don't know. It looked really good. Like I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be a fucking 7 at least.
See, my problem with all that is if you had a mind blank that. No, my problem with that game is I was actually about to say that. My problem with that game is actually it's the devs who done Final Fantasy 15, which as a Final Fantasy fan, I fucking hated. I thought it was terrible. I was not a fan of Final Fantasy 15 at all. Story was terrible. Open world, in my opinion, was bare bones as well. And when I say the story was terrible, it was good, and then they ruined it by cutting the second half really short. But the combat as well, mate, I just wasn't behind it. So it just seems like it's more of that kind of thing, whereas crap story, bare open world, and an okay combat on this sense, maybe what they've improved upon. But I'm kind of glad we didn't get it anyway, because obviously I've been playing Dead Space and I wouldn't want to be playing that and being like, oh, I'm playing this because Bobby bought it and I don't really like it, and Dead Space is there and it's getting 9s and everyone's kind of high on it.
Yeah.
And then
kind of glad it was kind of good in a way, we didn't buy it because then we would have been cluttered by games not knowing what to play.
At the same time,
good.
If we would have burnt ourselves out with open world for Hogwarts, if you do,
yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm like, open world right now is probably not the way to go right before Hogwarts.
Yeah.
But we can get into that
expected with the codes not going out to a lot of people. I think they knew. They wanted to give it as little as possible to try and boost the score.
Yeah, we talked about this, by the way. Yeah.
If that had went out to everybody, it would be a lot lower than 67.
Yeah. And that's actually shocking that they didn't give it out to people. Why did they just delay it if they thought it was going to be so bad?
Better off delaying a game than putting it out shite, because that's kind of ruined the chances now. If there was this Forspoken 2, it's going to leave a bad taint in the mouth.
You know what taint is?
Which is a bitch.
Yeah. And actually, another rumour that I read, and this is ones that I've been reading but not putting in the show notes because I'm like, I don't trust the sources enough, but suppose that game had restarted development several times, which I would believe, because Final Fantasy 15 was 2016. So typically you're talking 6 years. Now that was made on, I believe, the Luminous engine, which Square had shown back in the early stage of PS4 with Project Agava, I think it was. And this is obviously the spawn of that. So the engine's been there for a while. It's not like they needed to create a brand new engine for it, but clearly they've had issues with the game, and it's obviously shown when it came out.
Yeah.
Anything to add, or rest your peace?
Rest your peace.
Rest your
Rest
peace.
in peace.
Rest in peace. You're not getting a number 2. Moving on. Item 4. It seems EA has hit gold with the Dead Space remake. Whoop whoop. So, launching today, the Dead Space remake has now been released with fantastic reviews seemingly across the board, with some review sites claiming it's one of the best survival horrors yet. Currently sitting at 89% on Metacritic, it's available to play right now across all next-gen consoles. Robert,
Yeah, boy.
what is your thoughts? Are you excited?
I am so excited and so shit myself at the same time.
You have every right to be shitting yourself as a guy who has put an hour in. As a guy.
Give me your spoiler-free thoughts of the first hour.
Okay.
In terms of
Good, bad, and the ugly.
how it looks, yeah, pretty much.
First impressions, okay. Oh, let me say this actually. Can we just laugh at EA, who said that they had no interest in remaking old games?
Yeah.
So we've now had the Need for Speed reboot or remaster. They said that it was remastering old games, to be fair. So they've done Need for Speed. They also done Burnout. Did they do a Burnout remaster? I don't think they did. Burnout Paradise they did on the PS4. Yeah, Burnout Paradise.
Okay.
They remastered that. And then they also remastered Mass Effect. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Part of me watching this is like, why didn't you just do the remake treatment for Mass Effect? Even though it does hold up, but could have done that. Would have loved it. And then obviously you've gotten now this remade, which is great. Because people are screaming for like a Skate remaster, aren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously they're making another one.
Yeah, it's just called Skate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Skate. That was actually in. There's rumors on that, by the way. Microtransactions, guys. But of course, we would have expected that.
Yeah, very much an online kind of game, isn't it?
Yeah. So Dead Space 1. Had you ever played Dead Space?
Yes.
How long did you play it for?
Maybe a couple of hours, because actually I was speaking to my friend Mark. I met him in the shop the other day, and I was telling him, he was just asking about we haven't seen each other away, just talking about games and things like that. And I says, yeah, Dead Space coming out this Friday, I'm getting that. And he's like, fuck, do you remember when we played Dead Space together, and we were obviously just in our own houses on Xbox Party Chat, and you were shitting yourself? And I says, I know, and I'm shitting myself now to play it. I can just remember it being very fucking jumpy.
I mean, I feel very old. I remember listening to a podcast. It was 2012 or 13, and they're talking about Dead Space 3 releasing, and it was all microtransactions. Like it was yesterday, just talking about Dead Space now. So
I'm terrified,
yeah, you should be.
but I'm excited.
Yeah, so it starts, you're on a ship, you're going into the USS Ishimura, I think it's called.
Yep.
Massive Alien vibes, by the way. Like, obviously, it's very highly inspired by Alien. Graphically, it's good. I wouldn't say it's unreal. Like, playing it, you're thinking, this is how it looked, but obviously it didn't look like that.
Yeah.
But graphically, I would say it's not on par with something like Demon's Souls Remaster, where it's like, holy shit, like, this is a gorgeous looking game in general. It's a good looking game. I would put it something maybe to the tier of Resident Evil 2 kind of level of graphics. Obviously, look, the environment. The environment is obviously on ships and things, so it's a lot more close quartered. But I haven't played it on OLED yet, so take it with a pinch of salt because it's supposed to look unreal on that. And I've been reading, some people were saying, turn the lights off, play it in the OLED, play it in the dark, headphones on.
I'll definitely be playing my headphones on for 3D audio.
I was doing that, yeah. Which I personally, I'm not sold on the audio for 3D audio. I don't know if my settings are up to par, but I checked them the other day. But I was having trouble of going, where the fuck are the things? But to be honest, they could be climbing on top, so who knows? Or below. Because I was like, where the fuck are they?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So, should I get into a problem I had first? And it's a very small nitpicking problem, but it's very annoying.
Yeah.
So, on the ship, because this is kind of the first thing, once you actually get control of your character, on the ship there is a wee codec, and you can pick it up and you can read it. And I don't mind that. But when you're reading it, it's obviously the character's backstory and it's talking about like his family or whatever. But it doesn't cut away. Like you're reading it and the game's live and it's active at the moment, which is good because it's a horror game. It's kind of risk reward. I'm going to read this and something could be come up behind me. Your face.
No way.
Yeah. But the problem then was I'm sitting trying to read this text and the characters are going, hurry up, you coming? You coming? I'm like, will you let me fucking read this? So I move on anyway, and the next hour I'm reading something, and they must have said 10 times, do you want to push that button? And I'm like, I'm reading fucking the next Harry Potter novel here. They're fucking 10 pages, will you leave me alone? But I was constant. Now, obviously, this is an issue at the start because, spoiler alert, for 10 minutes in, I think you're pretty much left alone throughout. Now, I haven't played too much of Dead Space, but I ended up getting to the same part, I think, where I got when I last played it. Is it scary? I don't think the creatures look scary, but it definitely does horror well in terms of build up and jump scares.
That's the worst. I don't mind to look at some things, but it's the whole like waiting, knowing that there's could be something around that corner. Or it might not be.
The sound's great as well. Like the noise they make is creepy, and just the noise of the ship and things is fantastic. So obviously the game, just to kind of give people a little bit of the gameplay, think of something like Resident Evil in terms of Resident Evil 2 Remake, that kind of style of shooter. The plasma cutter is a gun you use, which you use to cut off their limbs, which is very, very fun. But as all good horror games do, ammo's quite hard to come by, so there's a lot more tension. Now, it's not like, because a lot of the horror, when you think about Resident Evil 1 back in the day, and a lot of that horror was, I have nothing, and if I die, I'm going to lose all my progress. That was actually more of the horror as well. So you were like, where the fuck's the typewriter to save at? So I believe this has autosaves, but there's still the tension of, if I have no ammo, I'm fucked. Yeah. And I don't want to waste my ammo. So I'm a good bit in. I'm not too far in. You've started getting kind of these things like stasis, it's called, where you can slow things down.
Yeah.
But there is a scene, and it's very early on. So look, if you don't want spoilers, skip it. But there's a scene very early on, and there's loads of them, and you kill them, and you press this button, and all the lights turn off. And I was like, fucking class. And you have your gun, your plasma cutter, and there's just a wee flashlight on it, and you just see that. And it's really good. It is, mate. I feel dread playing it, and I love that. But it is tense. It is tense. So I'm excited to play more.
I'm going to beat it.
Oh, man, it is. It's very good. But it does seem, it seems very loyal to the original game. Like it does feel, it feels like a game from 2008. Do you know what I mean? I would have been interested to play the, what am I saying? Ghost Protocol. It's the fucking thing. That's a Mission, it's a Mission Impossible film. Callisto Protocol, because that was the guy who, I forget his name, but that's the guy who made the original Dead Space, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got very kind of
mixed.
But I think that's due to a lot of people thinking it was going to be something like Dead Space, but it's not. It's actually quite different.
Are you surprised? Let me ask you. So, are you surprised by the reviews and the kind of the feedback that came off the back of it? Because it is EA who, let's face it, are very accustomed to ruining everyone's hopes and dreams. And I'm looking at you, Mass Effect. Well, it would have been Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
No, are you surprised it's done well?
No, I think they knew what they were doing. After the Mass Effect remake or remaster, I think they knew they had to get it right. In terms of, there was a lot of reviews, are like, they're all high on them. Greg Miller, he's a big Dead Space fan. He played it, he gave it a 4 out of 5, and he basically said the only kind of detriment to it was that it didn't kind of innovate a wee bit. But that was maybe the downside of just it being a remake and they wanted to stay true to it. They didn't kind of modernize it in any way.
Yeah.
The term mechanics and things like that.
I wonder if they do, because obviously Dead Space 2 is very well loved as well, whereas 3 I hear a lot more mixed things. So I'm wondering if they will keep 2 along the lines of what it is, and then obviously with 3 maybe rectify any issues that were present that are complained about to kind of put it on a brand new trajectory, as you will, and then from there continue it as the way it should be, rather than going.
I think I would maybe like 2 a bit more, because it's a bit more actiony, isn't it? I kind of went away from
3 really does, from what I've heard.
3 really does. 3 might be my favorite one then. Yeah. But I know 2 does. A lot of people actually say 2 is better.
Yeah.
But then a lot of them, maybe more survivor horror people, would say 1, because you maybe get a wee bit more ammo and weapons and things like that in 2, which might be better for me personally.
Are you a fan of the Alien films?
Love the films.
You do? You generally do love them? Yeah, like
Love them.
to me,
Yeah.
one's a fantastic horror film. Obviously, two and so one kind of gets a bit more actiony.
Even Prometheus and all loved a lot kind
Yeah.
of the backstory to it.
Did you try Alien Isolation?
Not a hope.
I don't know. You can do it on VR, mate. Jesus Christ. Alien Isolation
Not
is a
a hope.
fantastic horror game. It will kind of give me a wee bit
I
of.
want to play something that's something where I'm getting stalked.
It is Alien Isolation is probably the. And that's one of the most underrated horror games or games in general. Do you know IGN gave that like a 6 when it came out? It was your man Ryan
Really?
McCaffrey. 6 or a 5. It was too hard. But I think he would play it on the hard mode, I think. Do you know what I mean?
There you go, then.
But it was a fantastic game, that man. But yeah, so when are you going to be giving that a go, Bobby?
I'm gonna give it a blast tonight. I'm gonna play probably about an hour tonight because I'm quite tired. But I'll get my first hour in.
And on the OLED. But yeah,
Mm.
you can let me.
Tomorrow
Well,
I can
you're
play
not allowed to
with,
tell me your thoughts.
the lights on and stuff.
This is the problem with doing the podcast. We can't talk about games until we actually.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that we can both get a beat and get a review out this week while it's still fresh.
I'll get a beat this week, no bother.
Yeah, I'll probably be able to get a beat this week as well. Get a review out on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah. So, item 5, Atomic Heart goes gold. So the Atomic Heart developer, Mundfish, has announced that the game has gone gold ahead of its February 21st release date. On Twitter, the official Mundish account stated that the game has gone gold. Afterwards, the tweet thanked developing and publishing partners and the game's audience. It read, "Thanks to our partners and everyone who is involved in this exciting project. And first of all, thank you all for staying with us and supporting Atomic Heart." Atomic Heart was set to release sometime in fall of last year, but had been delayed to its current February date. So I did ask you to watch up a wee bit on this, but I don't know what you've seen. I basically watched the IGN's preview in preparation. I have seen things in the past, but what was your impressions of this?
It looks stunning.
It looks actually graphically amazing.
I watched I think it was one of the most recent trailers. It was the NVIDIA one,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks fucking really good. It looks very, very much something I would play. Shooter, kind of Bioshock vibes.
I have fears of console performance. You know that?
I'll be playing on my PC.
I think it may have console performance issues.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It looks too good to run on a console, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, Bioshock, you had said earlier, because I did ask you off the podcast, you've only played part of Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, I've got maybe a few hours into it. I think I played it at work one night when I was on night shift.
That game blew me away, man. I remember playing that on PC. It was one of the first PC games I got when I went to PC back in 2013. Absolutely blew me away. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous game. Story's fantastic. So, they are from... The Bioshock games are made by a guy called Ken Levine. He done System Shock, which is actually being remade at the moment. I think it releases soon, actually. So looking at this, it's kind of taken in that inspiration where you have a weapon and I was gonna say magic, but you do have kind of like I believe you have like a kind of a power as well. But even at that, it's obviously like a spin on something historically. So I believe this is a thing that Russia, I don't know if it's Russia don't lose the war, but it's something along the lines of something in history's changed.
Yeah.
And its technology's progressed differently. Is that right?
That's very cool. Like, if I don't know a lot about it. I've watched a couple of trailers. I've never really took a big interest into it.
Yeah.
I just it's them kind of games where they look good. I maybe pay a bit more attention to it coming out. And when did you say it was coming out? March?
February 21st. So literally under a month.
It's
And
around the corner then.
yeah, so they are a Russian team that are currently operating out of Greece. So that's kind of where a lot of buzz came from, because obviously anything from Russia right now is not getting kind of pushed over here.
Yeah.
So that's how they kind of got around it. And I believe, I'm going to be wrong in saying this, it might be Poland. Where are the guys that do Metro? Where are they from?
Metro?
Are they Polish as well, or Russian?
Something like that. There's another game, obviously. I think what do you call it? It was meant to come out there.
Soccer?
Yeah, they're
Russian?
Ukraine. They're Ukraine. So a lot of their developers are actually out fighting in the war. That's why it's been delayed.
Ah, the Metro guys 4A, they're actually they're Ukrainian, Maltese. I knew it was somewhere around that kind of area anyway. So yeah, these are actually a Russian developer.
Yeah.
Nothing really wrong with them. It's not their fault they're Russian. Like,
No,
Putin's
I think
fucking making it.
the backlash against them is a bit unfair.
Yeah.
And then the stand up against them all, and it's not as They shouldn't bring that into it.
But I think it actually looks
feel pressurized, to do that kind of thing.
It's balls. But it actually looks really good, mate. And
it does.
I seen something. I thought this is a class idea. So there's an area in a level that has floating water, and you can jump in the water and swim like around the room in the water. But it's like circular.
It's gonna be one. It's gonna be one for the computer, like, isn't it?
I don't think it'll work. Probably on the console. I think it'll be a mess. I think maybe the X or the Series X might get away with it. I think the Series S is fucked. Mark my words, mate. Mark my words, because like it's a smaller developer, and you know how these things go. Every time you hear.
Do you think it's going to be 30?
Well, from the gameplay previews I've seen, it's 60. But I believe that would be PC previews that I've seen. Now, one of the complaints, and this goes back to Elden Ring and so on, there's kind of like 4 main areas like that you go into that's well thought out and designed, and then there's like an open world that you use to traverse to those areas, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd just rather, can we not get the 4 areas like well thought out, bit more linear? But that's just me. Like, at the end of the day, it's just I don't like open worlds, I'm guessing, a lot of the time. But yeah, so that's coming out soon. I'm excited for it. At least I'll keep up and see how it reviews. But I do have a feeling either it's going to do really well or it'll just be another one that's a flop. Like, has there ever been like a really unknown studio make a big game like that nails it, hits it out of the park, and just does amazing? Because it never seems to.
No, not off the top of my mind.
Even you look at the guys who make Kingdom Come Deliverance, I feel it's more akin to that, where it could, like, that's a well done game, but it was buggy as fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time these small companies try to take over or take charge of this type of game, it just seems like they can't keep up with it, the amount of quality work that needs to go in the back end.
Yeah.
You getting tired?
We'll see soon. Mate, I'm always tired.
Bobby looks like he's about to fall asleep here, guys. My monotone voice.
I'm wide awake. I'm always tired.
You're wide awake?
I'm wide awake.
You're definitely wide awake anyway. So, moving on. Item 6. Is this the end for the Uncharted series? Okay, is the Uncharted series over? In an interview with BuzzFeed, Neil Druckmann, rep, explained that Sony doesn't pressure Naughty Dog into creating a sequel just because a game is successful, and that the publisher has been very supportive in letting the studio follow its own passions. That's not the case for us. Uncharted was insanely successful, Druckmann said. Uncharted 4 was one of our best-selling games, and we're able to put our final brushstroke on that story and say that we are done. We are moving on. Talk to me, Bobby. Is Uncharted over?
No.
Do you foresee Naughty Dog making another Uncharted game?
It could happen. I don't think it's going to be them. I think it'll be someone else.
Okay, so that's where I would kind of lay. I was like, Now, do you feel like it would continue the story of Nathan Drake and co?
I can't say because I haven't played them.
You haven't played them. So
I've played Lost Legacy, so
yeah, this is where it gets a bit awkward with you because it would be spoiler territory. But
I know it's very much. I think the story with Nathan Drake was very much closed.
Yeah, it was. So it would need to be. It could be a new character and things, but I think there was more that they were talking about the Last of Us with this, because obviously there's a show now, which today is just announced they're going more in that, and Neil's heavily involved in that. Then you have the factions, and then you have all the rumors of him talking about part 3. So I think personally, they're doing another Last of Us,
100%,
and then they'll close off the Last of Us. Or, well, to be fair, maybe they'll do more. But I think
do some spin-offs like Lost Legacy.
Yeah. Would you like them to do something completely different? Like after factions say no?
I would love them to do something different, but do I want The Last of Us 3? Yes. Give it to me right now. 100%.
What type of game do you think Naughty Dog would make if they didn't make Last of Us Part 3?
Oh, that's a tough one. It'd have to be something with boring gameplay, because that's what they're used to doing.
Oh my god.
And then something with boring gameplay and a great story, great characters. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. They're really creative, obviously, so I'm sure they'll come up with something. I couldn't say.
Yeah, but
couldn't even say what I want them to do either, because I honestly don't know.
Surprise you kind of thing.
Yeah, I would pretty sure if they come up with a new IP, it would probably be fantastic either way.
So who would you trust to do an Uncharted spin-off or an Uncharted game that's not Sony or Naughty Dog? Obviously, it's going to have to be a well kind of reputable studio within the first party. So what are you thinking? Bend?
Sony Band, yeah.
Sony Bend? Sure, Sony Bend. According to reports,
I think they got shit on with Days Gone. Like,
I need to play that game because I hear a lot of good things about it.
I'm going to play it on PC with mods.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things and I haven't played it, but
it's very highly rated and there's a community for it. Like, and I feel like it's one of them games, judging by what everybody said, that if they got a second one, they would perfect it.
Do you know where Sony Bend came from? What their first games were?
They done Vita stuff, didn't they?
They actually done Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
But they also done, and I might be right in saying, I'm going to double check this. But looking, I believe they done Uncharted Golden Abyss. So let's have a wee look.
I'm pretty sure. I think that's where I'm getting the Vita from.
Yeah, so that was the game they'd done, I believe, before Days Gone. And it was Ben Studio. But then for Days Gone, they were then, from memory, I believe they were to take over the Last of Us remake. That was being developed by them. But Naughty Dog took it off them, thinking that they'll be able to do it better, quicker, essentially.
Yeah. Which isn't really anything bad towards Bend, I don't think. I think, if it's your own product, you know what you're doing, you can maybe get it right quicker and you can do it better because you made it, essentially. I don't think it's really a detriment to Sony Bend.
Yeah. So we'll move on from there anyway. Item 7, GoldenEye comes to Nintendo Switch and Xbox. 64 Classic. Nintendo 64 Classic GoldenEye 007 will finally arrive on Nintendo Switch Online's Expansion Pass and Game Pass on January 27 on Xbox. Announced via Nintendo's YouTube channel and the Xbox Wire, the long-anticipated release date finally confirms when players can jump into the role of Bond, both in single player and its beloved multiplayer. Didn't realize I had the multiplayer too. Bobby, did you ever... What's the catch?
Catch is the multiplayer is only available on Nintendo Switch. And it's only, the multiplayer, you can only play multiplayer on Nintendo Switch.
Why? That's bonkers.
Online multiplayer, and the Xbox version only has local split screen.
That is bonkers.
Split screen.
Fuck me.
Not even local in your house or anything, or cacking them up. It's just local split screen. So that's kind of put me, I know a couple of my friends are big into it, played it back in the day. I didn't.
So I had my cousin lent me his Nintendo 64 that had this and Banjo-Kazooie, and I loved it. It was great, fantastic game. I have more affinity to James Bond 007 Nightfire. Did you ever play that?
Was it on
PS2? PS2. I love the James Bond games, and there was
I can remember playing the older Bond games, but it wasn't the 64. I don't think I had a 64.
Yeah, I always played other people's ones, but there was Tomorrow Never Dies and all came out as well. So that's releasing today. Now I know a few people who've tried it and said it's terrible. It does not hold up.
It's gonna be fucking terrible. People are going to stick us on for 5 minutes or whatever, look at it and be like, yeah.
There's a remake in the works, isn't there?
I have no idea.
I believe there is a GoldenEye remake in the works. Now there was one remade that had Daniel Craig in it, was it not? Let me see. I think this is actually it that they're talking about. Fuck me.
This was apparently the actual. It was one that was meant to release before, I think, on the 360 for Xbox Arcade. This version, but obviously it's been spruced up for Xbox to be 4K. Nintendo, I believe, just have the 64 version.
See,
I'm not 100%.
I think it might be the other way. It's the other way around, is it not?
No.
I don't know.
It's full 4K 60 on Series X.
Oh, sorry. No, not that it's 4K. Is one of them not something's more updated on one? Maybe it was the multiplayer you're talking about.
The multiplayer.
To be fair, it was Kieran that told me.
The multiplayer you can play online on Switch, which is annoying. But then you have the whole, obviously Rare, or no, not Rare. Sorry,
Rare did make Rare made that.
Rare.
Yeah.
You have Rare, who obviously Microsoft own, and then you have, I think that's something to do with that, the IP or the rights to publishing it or something like that belongs to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Something weird like that.
Should you remember Rare Replay? There was calls for it then, when it wasn't on Rare Replay.
So I think it's stupid that you can't play online on Xbox. I think it's a big loss there.
That's bonkers. But yeah, it did actually get a remake in a way. It was GoldenEye Reloaded with Daniel Craig in the starring role, but that was for 360. which I thought I knew about. But yeah, look, to be fair, I'm not probably going to bounce in. I've tried it recently and I was like, oh, this is fucking rough.
Yeah, I'm not going to
I'm
play
sure
it.
a lot of people will still find that, but there was someone, I think I watched someone remake it. Just in those, there's people remaking games all the time. Someone is remaking Hit and Run at the moment just for himself. But
I've seen that.
yeah, so yeah, that's pretty cool though. But yeah, I'm going to give it a skip, I think. If I get bored, I might download it for 2 minutes and then quickly uninstall it anyway after I feel that gameplay. But it reminds me of, like, do you remember the original Medal of Honor?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole style of game up. I loved that. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they were good.
We'll move on. Item 8. Nintendo is ramping up production for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The increased production plans are somewhat unusual given how long the Switch has been in the market. However, as it's now approaching its 6th year, fuck me, having originally launched in 2017, Tears of the Kingdom will likely create a spike in sales. However, given the success of its predecessor, Breath of the Wild, alongside Nintendo's teasing of it since 2019, that's how long it's been, 4 years, and IGN's 10 out of 10 review of the original, they had said that the Breath of the Wild was evocative, exhilarating, and a masterclass in open world design. So if you think about what they said about the original, everyone's expecting this game to be the next fucking best thing. And bear in mind that IGN ranked it as their number 1 in terms of Breath of the Wild best game of all time. Now, Bobby, do you even care about Tears of the Kingdom?
No, I want to. But I think I need to play Breath of the Wild on the computer.
Yeah, because 4K. So, bit of background: I played it at launch, and I remember my first child was still a baby. It was great because I got a Switch, got it on launch night. I worked the game. I was a deputy manager there. First game I got, Zelda. Came home. He was in bed sleeping at 7. I didn't care because I had my Switch. Looked like absolute shit to me anyway. Didn't really like it. And it was the same thing with Elden Ring, and this is why I came back to it, because sometimes I need to understand someone to tell me what the loop is. You know?
Yeah.
So right now, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what Elden Ring gameplay loop is. In terms of myself, I get what you're supposed to do, but you're like saying you don't really need to do the dungeons. But I'm almost like, but I have to do something to level up. Do you know what I mean?
Do them all. Like I think if you just play it and just
naturally,
and you see some, oh, that looks interesting. Chances are it is interesting. Why
Zelda worked for me in the end was I played it on 4K on my TV on the PC, connected, and we did 60 FPS. It was gorgeous, and I had a mapped out of where the shrines were, and my idea was I will do the shrines and then I'll do the boss, and I figured out a path of playing it that had somewhat of a linearity to it.
Yeah.
That made it good for me. Whereas when I tried that with Elden Ring, it was a lot of the similar content. Whereas with Zelda, a lot of that content is puzzles and stuff. So it's a lot different. And then that's where I think I went wrong. So it all kind of came full circle. But I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Logan's going to have to get his Nintendo stole off him for it, though, because you can't play this one on PC. Or at least not at reasonable free rates or legally. But a lot of talk, I remember, Bobby, we were saying, next gen console for it, but it seems to be it's going to be on the original Switch by the looks of things. If not, maybe both.
Knows. Nobody knows. We don't know yet.
6 years.
It's too long.
Bear in mind, PS4 to PS5 was 7 years. I believe it was the same for the PS3, 2006 to PS4. So we're looking at a new Switch maybe next year.
Next year, I would say.
Next year.
I would like to say next year at least.
So I think this was planned to come out. Well, actually, it had been planned to come out. This is way overdue. So they did. Yeah, if this was actually the case that it was planned this way, they would have just waited a year. But it's just at the stage where they're not going to hold it for a year. Obviously, investors and stuff. But what do they release next year? It's probably going to be a Super Mario Odyssey sequel.
Mario Odyssey sequel, I would imagine. They'll release something big for it.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I would like to see them do another Mario Kart, but Mario Kart 8 just keeps selling. So,
fuck. And what we'll do then? We will move on. Final thing this week we have is listener questions submitted by yours truly, Kieran, who actually is on the podcast but still finds a way of trying to get on it even when he's not about. If you have any questions, guys, by the way, feel free, send in emails to readyuppod@gmail.com. And feel free to send any questions, or Bobby particularly hate mail about his Xbox loving abilities, and tell him to fuck up about GT for once on the next this podcast on TikTok. So Bobby, we'll keep this short and sweet. Kieran has asked, and let me just kind of get ahead of this. So Bobby knows this question already, guys, and he also thought about the answer, which would have been God of War, okay? But Kieran has specifically asked me, Bobby, that we are not allowed to mention a game or a movie based on a game that's in production. So what Kieran asked is, if you had the budget of Avatar, which I believe is, what was it, 2 billion? It made 2 billion. It was something.
No idea. You're the movie man.
I'm a movie man. It's in the millions. It's easily in
big. It's just a big budget. Let's just call it big budget.
Okay, if you had the budget of a big ass budget, which video game would you make into a film and why?
Right. So God of War was being made into the TV series, so I think I could have had that one. But do you know yours? Because I still need to think.
I know mine.
But how many yours?
I think, and this is what I would do, and I think Avatar. I don't think live action would work well for this. And there's actually an IGN April Fool's trailer that they made that people fell for. A Zelda game. And I would just do it in the akin to the way Avatar is, where it's a bit more digital, but fucking high end. Just really hit it hard. High end digital. Imagine a fucking Hyrule that looks amazing. You've got Ganon. Do it even Breath of the Wild style. Do it fucking Ocarina of Time. But a good budget behind it. Now, does it even need Avatar? To be honest, most video game films wouldn't need a budget of Avatar. Even Avatar doesn't really need that budget. Just James Cameron's just a fucking melter. We're needing the highest end tech you can get. But I think if you were to make a film based on Zelda, live action wouldn't work. Cartoon could work, but there was a cartoon series of Zelda years ago. But I think I probably would have said fucking Mario, to be honest with you. But I think if you do Zelda, there's enough there to start putting in a lot of visual elements to really drive it further. You know, think of Pandora in Avatar. Looks gorgeous. There's tons you could do with Zelda. Hyrule, you've got all the different fucking species. And people are going to go, if anyone listens to this and likes Zelda, they're going to be like, fucking species, what's he's on about? But yeah, you do have these like different fucking creatures in Zelda and things that are a bit more, they wouldn't suit in a live action. You know, it'd be almost like doing Star Wars, where I just don't think it would work. I would say Zelda, and I can understand where you're going with God of War, especially God of War. Like, I do think that's logical.
Because I'm struggling to think anything else that hasn't been done, because we know Gears of War is getting the movie and it's getting the anime.
Fucking Gran Turismo's getting a movie.
Gran Turismo's getting a movie. Everything's getting the fucking movie. I'm not going to say 4, for fuck's sake, because I like everybody else started. For me, it would be God of War in movie form, but I really honestly can't think of anything else. But big budget is in, like, I'm thinking more the way the Avatar, there's going to be 5 movies. Give me 5 God of War movies, big ass, fucking 2.5, 3 hour long from the day one.
You could do it. You think about Mount Olympus. The amount of budget gets spunk on that with a big fucking CGI. Big
ass bunk shit down, and he goes under the water where Poseidon's bit is, down in hell with Hades. Like, there's so much you can do. All the big titans that he fights, like Kronos and all that, in 3 when he kills them and stuff. Spoilers. There's a lot big budget stuff they can do there, but the whole entire story as a whole.
Yeah. That's why I went to Zelda, is because you don't have to use live action, because any chance you have of getting live action will lower the budget. Whereas, well, Avatar 2, spoilers, I don't think there's any live action. Like, one has a bit of blend, doesn't it? Well, obviously one is blended, but there is no live action when you think about it. No. There's actually no live action. It's all digital. Isn't that mad when you think about it now? I'm like, actually, the whole thing's digital. Yeah, so
that's for me. God of War. There's a lot of settings, and a lot of scenes that would be unbelievable from every single game. I can think of some.
Because when you have to go, live action will lower the budget no matter what compared to all digital. When you think of most games, a lot of them are physical people and running about. It's not very cartoony aesthetic. Whereas I think Zelda has that blend of both, so that's why I picked that. The end. So that is a wrap on this week's podcast. If you like the podcast and you're listening on Spotify, if you're watching it on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you've made it to this end, fucking fair play to you. But as always, goodbye. We'll see you next week. My name's Niall, and this is Bobby. We are checking out.
Bye bye.
Peace out. A-Town.